town has never really left the 60s. Valdosta have never left from where it was segregated. Valdosta have always been a black and white town.
If you want to get ahead in Valdosta, you're African American, you would you metaphorically kiss the right butt and not complain, and stay on your knees and pray.
Change. It haven't really been any change. You do what you do over there and don't bother nobody or don't make no fuss, and it's all right. Well, the town has never really left the 60s. Valdosta have never left from where it was segregated. Valdosta have always been a black and white town.
Okay, good evening. Thank you so much for being here tonight at Valdosta City Hall. We're sorry for the inconvenience having to move the location, but the air conditioning system went out across the street at the annex, and we knew it'd be much more comfortable being over here, so sorry for the inconvenience, but thank you for being here. This is the first of 3 community forums we're going to have, and we are really thankful that you're here tonight because we want to share with you information that we have, and we also want to listen to you and hear your feedback and your comments. And I want to start by thanking our mayor and council members that are here tonight. Most of them are here in presence. So Mayor Hill is here. Thank you, Mayor. Councilman Biggers, Councilwoman Nora Cody, Councilman Carroll, Councilman Yost. And I hope I didn't miss anybody because that's not a good thing. I think I've covered all those in here. So thank you for being here. And they also want to use these community forums to listen. And not only are we speaking and presenting, but we want to do a lot of listening. So you're going to have an opportunity to ask your questions and share your comments and concerns as we move forward. So most of you are aware this summer we experienced in our city a good bit of juvenile crime. And we are trying to look at ways to react to that. And our goal is always to be positive, to do something good. We truly want to help our young people and prevent them from going down a path that could result in compromising their future or causing them problems and not being as employable as they might be. So our goal here is pure, it's real. We want to help our young people, we want to help our community. And so the goal of this entire effort really is to look for ways that we can do that so that we can prevent kids from going down a negative path, so that we can help parents that may need some additional support in being a parent and counseling their young people and to help them get resources that are available to them that they might not be aware of. So tonight we want to share with you some of the issues that led to the conversation we're having, and then also help educate you about what we're actually proposing so that you understand what it actually is and perhaps not what you may have heard. And then Chief is going to cover some additional information, and then we're also going to have another speaker from Lowndes who's going to talk about the parenting class that we share and outline with you. So without further ado, I'm going to call on Chief Childress and let him come up and go through a fairly brief PowerPoint presentation of the outline of this program to you. So Chief.
Okay. Randall, will you do the honors? Never a bad time to pray.
God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, Thou who hast brought us thus far along the way. We thank you for your grace and your mercy, for it was your grace and mercy that brought us through. And we all live in this moment because of you. As we come to this place to listen and to speak, may everything that is said and done meet with your approval. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Chief. I don't know if I can sit up here at the microphone too long, because one I like to walk and move around and sit too soon. Plus I need to retire. We had a community forum about 2 or 3 weeks ago that they were a little longer than too. And that was one of our traditional community forums where we talked about a lot of different things too. I did not do a good job of communicating this program. Let me start with saying that. I didn't tell where I was going to say it, but I did. But hopefully this will answer a a lot of questions, and you'll see the intent of what we're trying to do, okay? So, I'm gonna speak loud. Why a new curfew and parental responsibility ordinance? It's right there in front of you. It's to protect juveniles from a criminal record, protect juveniles from being the victim of a crime, protect our citizens from being victims of juvenile crime, to help identify those juveniles who need intervention, and to help those parents who need help. Nothing more than that. Folks, from day one, our goal was not to lock up parents and not to charge juveniles. Reverend, you're sitting up front. Every program we've done, especially since I've been chief, has been designed to reduce crime. Has been to get people jobs back in the city. So how do we address this? How do we stop this crime? First and foremost, I don't care what anybody says. They say that well, if you're a juvenile and you get arrested, and once you become an adult, it's a sealed record. That's not true, folks. If you apply for a federal job or you apply for a law enforcement job, it will come back to bite you. I put these slides up here because I did not do a good job at the last four talking about this, so here they are. Here's some slides from 2017. It's hard to see. I don't mind sending this out to anybody. I'll shoot an email, you can have it. But that's aggravated assaults this year alone in the city. And it's all over the city. Why now? Some people ask me, why now? Tomorrow the newspapers come and see me. It has nothing to do with this. And they want to talk about 2016 crime in Valdosta. And they got, and the FBI Uniform Crime Report just published crime data, and they're usually about six to 8 months behind what just got it. And it's good numbers. You look at our population compared to other cities, and I'm talking about around us, Albany, Moultrie, yes, even some of the bigger cities, and I look at violent crime, and we're pretty darn low. Warner Robins, and I'm not knocking Warner Robins, it's just a fact, are off the chain. But how do we keep that down? You can't do it by locking people up. We recognize that. But you got to protect these kids, and we got to lower crime. Okay? So that's just this year. Aggravated assaults are shootings, stabbings, and so on. We've seen an increase. That's a fact. Vehicle break-ins. Someone asked me about vehicle break-ins. Because they ain't got anything to do with any part of town. If you look at this map up here, they're all over the place. Now, by the way, let me completely give you all 100% disclosure. These little specks are cars that were broken into. We had almost 500 in the city alone, all over the city. In some of those vehicle break-ins, quite a few of them, guns were taken. By the way, this is not just Valdosta. This was at the South Georgia region. We all know that. We said it in the news meeting. That's the chart I wanted to put up. This is not one particular area of the city. It's all over the city, okay? Now, here's the law. The new juvenile curfew parental responsibility law we're proposing. And we define public place, which is pretty much, and it says right here, means any street, highway, alley, or other right-of-way, including sidewalks, any park, playground, shopping center, or other place or building open to the public, any cemetery, schoolyard, body of water, so on. It pretty much includes everything except your private home. Okay? And the most important part, between the hours of midnight and 5 a.m. on all days, it shall be unlawful for any minor between the ages of 7 and 16 years of age to be found on a public place, unsupervised by an adult, having lawful custody of said minor. So one question was asked of me was this: well, what if my kids go and spend the night with somebody else? Am I in trouble? No, because that's the guardian, whoever took custody of the child. And I'm not even sure I call it trouble. We'll talk about that in a minute. Next part, shall be unlawful for any parent, guardian, or other adult person having legal custody or control of any minor to allow such minor to be in or upon a public place within the prohibited hours provided for subsection B, which we just looked at, except in circumstances as outlined, and we'll talk about this. Now, what's the offense? And I'll show you the exemptions. A lot of folks say, well, what they're doing in church? What they're doing in school? We understand that. We understand that. What if they have a school function? You know, the movie theater closes at midnight, or sometime after midnight. They're leaving the movie theater, and they're going That's part of this ordinance. But what happens first offense? It's a police warning. Okay? Nobody's getting arrested. That was from day one. We never ever talked about arresting anybody here. Okay? Second offense. Second or subsequent offense. Now that's a court action. What does that mean? Oh, let me add this too. This is something we talked about with some of our diversion programs. When I talk about diversion programs, let me talk to you about that. You all know we're fully accredited. Okay? In fact, we're the only one in this county that's fully accredited. Okay? But part of accreditation says, this has nothing to do with this ordinance, says you must have juvenile diversion programs. It means we have to have a book and a list of services of where to take these juveniles, because COLIA, our accrediting body, says you must do everything in your power to divert these juveniles so they don't end up with a criminal record. That's all this is. Nothing more than that. I didn't do a good job of explaining that the last minute. I'm guilty as charged. Don't arrest me either. Okay? That was a joke. Okay, but first offense, you get a warning. But listen, we do this all the time with their FBI gang task force. Okay? That's why I think our gang problem is not as bad as in other cities. Why? Because if we find out somebody might be in the gang, I don't care what color they are, what age they are, it doesn't matter to us, especially juveniles. We talk to them and say, okay, what can we use to divert them from the gang? So let's say first offense. I just told you this morning. Okay? So the juvenile's called, and mom comes to fix him up. And I'll talk to you about go in a little more detail on that later. What if it happens again? Then you get the summons to go to court to talk to our city judge. Nobody's being arrested. Nobody's being arrested. That was from day one. In fact, Larry insisted on it. Okay? And I'll talk more about that in a second. Now here's your exemptions that we have in this ordinance. And we've taken our ordinance and we looked at other cities' ordinances who have the same thing, and we've added a few other exemptions. Okay? And here it is. If it's accompanied by his parents, guardian, or another adult person, 21 years of age or older, having legal custody of the minor, is upon an emergency error directed by the minor's parents. Somebody asked me, well, what if I send my kid to go get medication? Come on, we're not going to charge somebody for that. That's not what we're here for. Let me tell you who we're really after. These kids that are out here, and I don't care what color they are. I've said that the last meeting, we'll stand by that. That's irrelevant. A kid's a kid, period. Okay? But where I'm after are these kids that are out here in the middle of the night and they're hanging with the wrong crowd. And they're going to get themselves shot or shoot someone else. White or black or Hispanic or male or female. Okay? It says an errand for emergency thing. Here's another one. Is returning directly from home from lawful employment that makes it necessary to be in places referenced in subsection B of this section during a prescribed period of time. Is in a motor vehicle with parental consent for normal interstate and interstate travel through the city. It's married in accordance with applicable law, because we have to put that in. It's attending or returning home within an hour of the conclusion of a school sanctioned or approved event. And here's another way: when the minor is attending or traveling directly to or from an activity involving free exercise of liberty. How will it work? Here's how it works. Ready? A lot of y'all asked me. I didn't have these slides in there last time, so here they are now. All right. Let's say we see a kid who's under the age of 17, and a police officer stops him. They're going to stop him, and then if I'm saying, can you tell me why you're out? No, I'm not allowed to be heavy handed. Never have. Never have allowed to be heavy handed. Never will be. Okay? Identify the kid. Why are you out? Okay? If the kid meets one of the exemptions, we have him in the driver's license back, or their ID back, and tell them have a nice day. Be careful. Okay? But if the kid doesn't have a legitimate reason to be out, we're going to pick up the phone, find mom and dad or parents, and say, can you come get your kids? And by the way, then guess what? I just solved the problem. Nothing more than that. I just solved the problem, and I got that kid off the street. Maybe the kid was doing something. Maybe the kid wasn't. Doesn't matter. Now he's off the street. okay, after the first one. Juvenile complaint form, just simple, something we do it all the time. And it's a juvenile complaint form, judge, I think judge, you're here, you know what I'm talking about. And you do that form, you go to the DKJ, and then they review it. And they decide if they're going to charge the kid or not, okay, for violating the purpose. Okay, very standard. But the kid still relates to his parents. That report is called Curfew. I've got news media here. They know what I'm talking about. Every morning, my news media gets an automatic report, PDF report, on certain offenses, some certain big offenses, because it's public record. That's called transparency. Same thing here. If it's a curfew, if it's called curfew, I've got the designated investigators that report goes to. By the way, I know some of you have probably heard of these things don't work. Well, because they don't have systems in place over in their hands. The report goes to the investigator. Investigators pick a moment, or go visit mom and dad, or the guardian and say, hey, why was your kid out that night? If they got a legitimate reason, no problem. If they say they can't control the kid, why not? My kid's in the game. My kid won't listen to me. I'm not suggesting we're charging. We're not going to charge. We're going to get them. That solves nothing. But if they don't have a legitimate excuse, we write them sums, and they go to jail, they go see the judge. Just that simple. Okay? I can't read it, but it's simple. And that's how it works. And I told you up here, first offense, warning, and we've also added this. We taught this we got some input from folks from BSU who've done some research on curfew laws. And so, say it's the first offense, one of the things we want to say is, okay, look, we're still going to follow up with it. Say, hey, we've got this guarantee in juvenile intervention class. You want it? Or are there any other services I can give you? And there's plenty of them. Don't have them up here. But COLEA, our accreditation requires us to have it. It's the right thing, like mental health diversion. What if the kid's got mental health problems? What if the kid's got a substance abuse problem? I need to get him help. Okay? And at the very bottom, in all scenarios, nobody goes to jail. Nobody. Nobody's going to jail because this ordinance is nothing new. And it's hard to see it, so I'll put it up here. Other cities have it too. More than 30 metro Atlanta cities. And they differ from here midnight to 5, and they break it down under 17. Then you see here, some metro. Thomasville's got one. And this is Thomasville's ordinance. Very similar to what we're talking about doing. Okay? But here's the difference. I had a conversation today with professors from BSU who provided me a lot of good research about these curfew laws. And I said, to me, the common theme here is on these curfew laws that they probably don't work because you're not doing anything to fix the problem in the first place. I didn't even talk to you about that last meeting because it didn't, and it doesn't. I spent a lot of time, the city manager spent a lot of time, and so at Lowndes, and so with the help of the issue and other folks. So let's fix the problem. What's the problem? The kid, why is that kid out? Do I need to send that person to school? Why is the mother not, or that it may be a single mother? By the way, I told you all the last meeting, and stand back with the crowd. My mother was a single mother. We were there. I get it. I do. But we're going to look at the problem. And we're going to have a diversion program instead of just blocking people. But again, I will say this again. And the council members don't even know this, but I had this conversation with the city manager and me alone and the city attorney. The goal was never, ever to lock these kids up and lock parents up. Our goal was to get these kids off the street before they get killed, or they hurt somebody or hurt themselves, and they get arrested. So this is not a new thing. Now I'm going to ask Al with Lowndes to come up and go over, if you would, a proposal for a parenting course. If we have to get that board. Okay? And by the way, this parenting course ain't a negative thing. It's an option. Thank you, Al.
Good afternoon. My name is Al Goosey. I'm from Florida. You say, well, why are you here talking about our city palace, Florida? Well, there's a little issue with that. 32 years ago, I came here in the Air Force, and I married a Dallas girl, and she didn't want to live in Florida, so I did here 32 years. I love Dallas. This is home for me. I'm from a little town called Apalachicola, but my adult life has been right here in Valdosta. So I have a special connection and I have a love for Valdosta. I work below that, and what we did was come up with a parenting course. This parenting course will have 7 segments. It's going to be a cost of $50 if you get to that point through the process. Our strategy is to teach the parents and young parents and any parent about some strategies on how to take care of their children in this crazy world that we're in. It's crazy out there. Some of the problems that were in Atlanta, they're here now. So we have to address those things. This was considered a rural area, but we have urban problems. We all might as well face those things. What our goal is to really just get in and work with the parent and try to get them some strategies on how they can keep their children in a safe environment. That's what we're looking for, is a safe environment. That's what we want for our children. Now, what we want to do is be a little proactive and offer these classes to the parents or any families before they have to come to some of these things. That way they can develop some strategies, take care of the situation of their own household without having to be told or be reprimanded or even summoned to come to our classes. As I said before, if you have to come when you're summoned, it's a $50 fee and it's a 3-hour course, and I think it's 7 segments. In those segments, we're going to take them from an unknown. What are you doing now to take care of your household? And what are some strategies that have been proven to work within the communities? We are going to do our best to not have to see anyone. That is our hope. But if it happens, then that's what we'll be here to take care of those stuff. We have a psychologist on board. I will be doing some of the training, and we're trying to get some volunteers to maybe come in and help if it gets that up. I hope we don't.
And Sergeant Sabrina Smith.
And Sabrina Smith, I forgot. And I think she's an officer with the police department. Sergeant, okay. So that's what we are looking at. What's that?
So I was just commenting, he was talking about who's going to teach the class, himself and others, and I said, and also Sergeant Sabrina Smith.
Sergeant Sabrina Smith. I think most of us
teaching no outside.
I know Sabrina right here. Yeah. And we're soliciting things that we can make that course better from the community. But I believe strongly that a child underage, the parents should know where the child are without a law. Now that's what I feel. But if we have a law, that means we need to follow that law. We need to make sure our children are safe. One other thing that I had spoke with Mr. Hanson and Chief Jules about, we're starting to develop some type of committee to try to work on getting summer jobs for these kids. That will help them not to put money in their pocket without going out doing devious things to get the things that they want. I mean, when I was in school, a pair of sneakers, and some of you might remember, Chuck Taylors were about $10. Now, I look on some of the mall and some of the prices. Jordans were $250. I work every day, and I don't have that kind of money. So let's come together as a community and deal with this problem. Because we might as well admit that we do have a problem. But let's don't throw the kids away because of the problem. Let's fix the problem, work amongst ourselves to make this a better community. Because I'll tell you, I love Dallas. And I'm not going to let y'all run me back and forth. Thank y'all.
I want to add something. I want to add something else to it. But don't forget this too. This is an option. But I want to say right up front that I got a prime example of what I'm talking about. What if we stop one of these kids and then we do follow up and the mother or father or both or guardian says he's in a gang? Well, I'm not going to throw a gang statute at him. Never happened. But it's hard for these gang investigators to know that they don't know all these kids are in there, but that if we can have a mechanism to let us know they're there, I can try to get them out of it. The other option is do nothing. Reverend, you and I talked about something a while back, and I'm jumping off here just for a second because it's important. ago, you and I talked about getting people jobs when they come out of jail. And I stand by this, and I can show the research with it too. When you're talking about crime prevention, I was down in Florida yesterday inspecting the sheriff's office, and we talked about the same thing down there, okay? You're dealing with a group of folks. No, I ain't talking about race or sex or religion either. I'm talking about ages. You got your kids, then you got your adults, then you got those folks that have been in the criminal justice system and are coming out. So what do you do with those folks? Well, first of all, you and I both agree that this nonsense about, well, if you're coming out of prison, you've served your debt to society, now you're forgiven, is a bunch of malarkey. Okay? We all know that. But we did something about it. We did something about it. We created this coalition. We had 56 businesses, I think the number, and got several hundred people jobs. But what about the kids? Now look, I'm going to just tell you, I have touted to the news media, to you all, on social media and the news media, for the past 5 years, the crime in Valdosta has come down. Well, Larry, I've even told you in phone conversation meetings, I said, that number's only going to go down for so long. But I don't want this place to become, and I hate to say it, but I don't want it to become a big city like Atlanta. Or, and you all, and without slamming any other cities, and we're not perfect either, nor am I. But I will also tell you that we're going to wait and let us start having these random, constant shootings, like some other cities face, and just do nothing. I can't do that. I won't do that. The difference with this ordinance, though, and you hit on it earlier, Doc, was you're going to have some type of proactive, a program on the front, which I did not tell you all in that last meeting, because I didn't have the ducks in a row. You all know I did not. Now I do. But I can promise you that was the plan from day one.
3 points I want to make, and we're going to take some questions. The three of us are going to stay up here. One thing I know, these television monitors aren't great, so I just want to read over the 7 segments to those of you that may be in the back. The parenting course would be segment 1, introduction to being a more effective parent. Segment 2, accountability and problem-solving skills. Segment 3, healthy behaviors and attitudes. Segment 4, parenting to build character. Segment 5 would be healing, empowering, and restoring the core of the family. And segment 6 would be making a plan. And segment 7 would be putting it all together. So this is a 3-hour course that we would be putting together that would require both the parent and the child to attend. And at the end of that course, each would get a certificate. Then they're taken back to the appropriate court to say, I've completed this 3-hour course. So we want the parent and the child to attend it together. That's the recommendation we would give. That would actually really strengthen the family and help children also understand the consequences of parents. Another thing I want to mention, Chief hit on it, but under the leadership of the Mayor and Council, we've done some things in recent years because it takes more than law enforcement or even programs like this to address the issues. So I want to tell you a couple of things we're doing to do our part as a city to try and help our young people. One, under Mayor Gale's leadership, we started a Mayor's Youth Council 3 years ago. So every year we're choosing about 30, primarily at-risk students from Valdosta High School to participate in this program. They're really given a year-long experience to do a lot of character building, leadership building. They do community service work for the community. It's a great leadership opportunity for them. We interact with them over the course of that year. It's been a very successful program. We've had 100% support of the council on that. Many years ago, we started a job shadowing program. Every year, we have a group of students from Valdosta High School come in, and they all spend a day with us. So every year, I take 2 to 3 students myself, who are at-risk students at Valdosta High School. They shadow me for the day. I talk to all the kids myself. I introduce all our department heads. We share with them what we do, what it takes to get a job in local government. So they understand what it takes if you want to be a fireman, or you want to be a city manager, or you want to be a police officer, or you want to do any job in the city. We try to educate them when they're young so that they don't make mistakes that will compromise their future. We also want to encourage them to look at careers in local government. And we want to inspire them to grow up and serve their community so that they understand that folks just like us. I'm a product of the Valdosta City School System, Valdosta State University, and I'm proud to be in my community and serving my community and given the opportunities I have from the good education I was given right here have leaders like Richard Hardy, who's our public works director, who's a retired Air Force, who mentored some of it. We don't just give them a job and give them income, all that's important. We mentor them. So on their breaks, Richard is talking to them about his career in the Air Force. And actually, a couple of those young men decided to join the Air Force because of that. And then we have Freddie Bloom, our fire chief, who, when we did the orientation, and we go out and we interview these kids, we make them earn this opportunity. They got to be interviewed by these department heads, and they're selected. Well, Chief Bloom heard one of them say they wanted to be a firefighter one day. So he wanted that kid in his group, and he took that kid, gave him a part-time job at the fire department. And so I laugh about it now because I said, Chief, you did such a good job, he decided to join the Air Force. But either way, we want the kid's doing something good for his life, and he was inspired by our fire chief. And so all our department heads are engaged in this, and we're hiring these young people, and we're giving them an income, and we're guaranteeing them. It's a simple promise they make to us. And I speak to them every year and say, it's a great opportunity for you. And we're going to make a promise to each other. And it's a partnership. The promise they make to us is all they have to do is graduate from high school, and we'll give them a full-time job. That's all. So we're hiring them as 9th and 10th graders, and they're working in all departments of the city, in engineering, in zoning, in police, in fire, and recycling, and human resources, learning skills, and I'm able to interact with those kids. And I remember last year we had an incident at the high school, sort of a senior prank gone a little bit too far. The next morning I went down in the basement. I knew one of our students was down there working, and I said, young lady, you didn't participate because the chief would call me that. When the chief calls me early in the morning, it's never good. He doesn't call me and say, hey, how are your days going good? So he told me we had a little situation going on, and I went down and I wanted to check on our young people. She said, oh, no, sir. I know some of my friends talked to me about that. But she knew what she had going for her in that job and that opportunity. She wasn't going to take a chance and mess that up. So I say, we're trying to do our part with our young people as well. Give them opportunities, inspire them, and help them put them on a good path to prosperity. So with that said, I'm going to stop right now. Chief, I want you to come up here. Mr. Goolsby, come up here. We're going to give you a chance to ask us questions. Before I do that, one other thing. We had a first reading on this ordinance last month, just to introduce it to the council and to the public. Next Tuesday, we have a work session. We're going to discuss this again with the council in a similar way we've done tonight and listen to the feedback of our elected officials. They may have ideas to make it better. And then next Thursday, we're going to have a second reading, but we're not going to vote on it because we're going to have these 3 community meetings and we're going to listen and we're going to engage and we're going to have a conversation with one another. So we're actually not going to vote on it until a third reading, which is going to be the second meeting of October. That way we've completed the 3 community meetings and we've listened, we've engaged, and we will make changes as we feel appropriate based on that conversation. So I want to tell you, your input is important. Thank you for being here. We want to answer your questions. So Chief, come up here.
Let me talk about this real quick. I told you were this in slide. Here's an example how this will work. A couple of weeks ago, the mother shows up at the PD with her, and they've got a 16-year-old girl. Can't find her. Run away. And the mother said she was just frustrated, wasn't it? And well, a little frustrated with us because they couldn't find the kid. And she also said that kids involved with gang members is using drugs, and she was worried that the child might be being prostituted. Okay? So we found the kid, brought the kid in, and I picked the phone called Alan Lowndes. We talked to Lowndes. And I had a heart-to-heart with the kid, with the parents there, told them where I stood. And that was 3 weeks ago. She's not right alone. Nobody got charged with anything. We just tried to fix the problem. And that's what it's about. It's nothing more than that.
All right. Questions? I saw a couple of hands going on.
I'd just like to ask the chief, 2 years ago, you told me that 300 and something young people from the age of 17, I think 23, they got arrested.
That's right.
And I asked you how many of them had jobs. And I think out of that number, about maybe not many had jobs, but
really,
Yeah, we have a job fair.
South Georgia
Chief
College.
has put together with a group, and we actually bring in, we really aim at people that have been incarcerated, and to give them that second chance, to give them before employers. And we have several hundred attend, but also 30 or 40 or 50 employers, and people are getting jobs out of that, because we also believe we should be a second chance society and a second chance community.
Most of the problems that I've heard tonight, that I've heard you state, could be solved with jobs.
Right.
Absolutely. Now, but look, hold on a second. Let's talk about that. But if these kids get records, it haunts them. I'm telling you, it haunts them. That's all this is about. I am not looking to lock a bunch of kids and parents up. And the other part is, if I can find a kid that's in a gang, call it gang banger, gang member, whatever, and get that kid out of the game through this program, you're not going to stop me. That's always been my goal. You know that. That's all it's about. Yes, sir.
One area, Calvin, one area I'd like to bring up, you said that they'll do a follow-up. Are these going to be officers from your department?
Yes, sir.
My suggestion along there, you got 2 police officers who's going to do a follow-up. We don't know what that kid or what problem or the condition that he's living in. I'm suggesting that we bring defects, the school system, and everything else before we shoot at this kid after we do this interview. Let's find out something about him.
And let me address that real quick. I want to talk about that book. Kevin, I appreciate your comment there. I don't like the word shoot at. I know where you're going with it, though. But now look, I'm not, these investigators, I've already picked them. This is not going to be a heavy-handed system. In fact, it was my line officer saying thing too, though. But I'm not looking to get, unless I have to, if I can fix it, I'm going to fix it with the minimal intrusion on the family as I can. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't get defects involved. And I'm not saying these police officers are social workers, because they're not. What I'm saying is that let's look at it first, find out what the problem is, and then get those entities that can help fix that particular problem. This is an intrusion thing. You won't know that. That's why you're here. It's an intrusion thing. You won't know it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. I'm trying to minimize the intrusion. Now, you're right, but I may have to get those entities involved. But let's find out what the problem is with the child and the parent, and then let's pull those services in first. Make sense?
The chief also thinks it's important. How you've chosen to handle this is he's going to assign 2 of his investigative staff. One of them really is, works in the chief's office. And so if a case is made or a complaint during the night, let's say at 3 a.m. in the morning, it's going to be flagged in the system as a juvenile curfew complaint. So really nothing is going to be done to that parent during that night. The next morning, those 2 investigators will come in, and those will rise to the top of their electronic files they're going to review. So then they are going to contact the parents and have a discussion with them and get to the bottom of what was going on, where was the child, what were you aware of, and then they'll make a decision. So we're not planning to go out at 3 a.m. and drag parents out of the bed. That's not the goal at all. Actually, the next morning, they're going to get to the bottom of what the issue was, and it may be that we help that mother who's trying her best with that child. It may be that we refer that child to DFACS or to LODAC for drug counseling, or get to the underlying cause of that issue, or deal with the school system. Calvin, that's actually the whole goal. That is absolutely the goal, what you described. It's only when a parent is just not being a parent that there's going to be action being taken, if they're just failing to be a parent. Yeah, Mr. Robinson?
Yes, I do have a little bit of a problem with this. It sounds, I understand that we all realize we got some tremendous problems in the city. And I understand exactly how you're trying to go about coming up with some type of solution. But what about the constitutional infringement rights of freedom when the person don't have the right to go out to exercise their freedom? And what about those to be jeopardized simply because they was out at the wrong hour of the night and something happened? It sounds good, but it also sounds like it's got some type of Gestapo sound to it. It seems like it's got some realization to it. We understand, but what about the impediments and the issues that come along with the property of these communities?
Mr. Robinson, I know you, and I know you were a child, and I know you raised children, and And I believe you where your children, your juvenile, your 13, 14, 15-year-old were at 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. in the morning. And these ordinances are in place all over the state and all over the country. So they are constitutional. That's not even an issue. They are constitutional. And again, our goal is to change behavior. Our goal is to help people, not hurt people. It's not to be heavy-handed. It's actually to help.
Well, let me say this too. Before I came over here, you know, I'm an open book. I am. Before I came over here, I was looking. Somebody called me, had a complaint, said my officer mistreated him. Went back and watched the video. Didn't happen. Now I'll call them back tomorrow and tell them. I get it. You're right. There is a concern there. Should be. Whether you're in a black community, white community, wherever. What we're suggesting we do. But Larry's right. The Supreme Court's already ruled about juveniles being out in bed at night. There is that's been ruled by the Supreme Court. But I also say this too. Remember, you wrote an article in the paper, and I'm going to use your name in vain again, that you said you're no longer worried about looking in the rearview mirror with about hostile police officers. Why is that? Because you know if they're wrong, I'll pounce on them.
And if they come to me, and if they are wrong, I'll tell them.
I know that.
If they, and I do that often. That's why you don't get as many complaints as you would normally do.
I know
On
that.
the other side, I have told them that I will go down there and I'll look at anything that you have, and I'll level with them, and I'll level with you.
That's right. And let me say this too. Look, there is training for officers on this too, about the proper way of doing this without being heavy-handed. But I just don't believe your police department. Now, we've all got bad apples in every career field. I got that. But my folks know the stance. If you do something stupid, you mistreat somebody, you're gone.
Okay. You had your hand up back there. I was going to call on you. Yes, ma'am.
I did. This just seems, to me, it seems like another form of modern injustice. Back in the days, you guys had slave code laws. Then when slavery was supposed to be abolished, then they went to the black code law. And so now that's supposed to be abolished. So now we're gonna do like a curfew, and y'all call it whatever y'all want to call it. But I think it's the parents' job to raise their children, not the police department or the city department. There are branches of the government that will take care of the steps along the way. If the kids are not following protocol or the parents, then they go through the system the way it's supposed to go through the system. I don't think you guys should be going around trying to check who's out this time of night. Just because, like, here I am, 61 years old. You might see me out, and you're probably thinking, oh, that might be a kid. Just because you saw a little statue of a person. You didn't see my face, but you saw the statue of a person. So let me stop this person. That's not fair. I don't think it's fair.
Well, and I
So you're really not helping the community.
Yeah, I appreciate your perspective. I see it differently, the motivation of what we're doing, how we're trying to do it. I would point out something we haven't mentioned tonight. There's already a Georgia state law. There's already a curfew in the state of Georgia under state law. So actually, we can already take action against juveniles that are out after midnight. The issue is the state law is actually not nearly as forgiving. It doesn't give these opportunities. It doesn't offer parental responsibility classes for the child and the parent. So we actually have the authority to take action. It would be more detrimental to juveniles but we're not doing that because we actually want to do something about it. We want to create something ourselves to help address the problem. And I know it's easy, all of us, it's human nature. It's easy to say what we're against. But what we want to hear is what you're for, because we actually all are agreeing. Everyone has said they recognize we've got an issue. So I hope the conversation can always be about what are we for to address the issue, not necessarily always what we're against. That's what I think.
I'm in agreement with it. I think we need to place some responsibility. I believe that we do have to set some standards and some parameters now with the parents to be responsible. I sit on the Valdosta City School Board, and so many times and so often people are accusing us of what we need to be doing and what we should be doing. Well, we only have certain parameters in which we need to operate to handle and to service the children in our community. It's the same with our government. But what I wanted to ask the chief is, most 7 to 14-year-olds don't have government issue ID. So how are you going to establish identity for these students? For most of them, if they're out doing something they're not supposed to do, it's going to be pretty difficult for you to establish an identity, for you to be able to send out a crew the next morning to talk with whoever the guardian will be.
And I already talked to my folks, I said, yeah, that is straightforward. I already talked to my folks about it, and the majority of the time, we'll go find it. They will tell us. And I've got enough options. I'm not saying that, it's always going to be the case. So what do I do in a case like that? We may have to notify a juvenile, have to come get the child so we can make an identification. I don't know. But the majority of the time, they have these kids are not going to have IDs that either my folks know they are, or they'll tell us who they are. Okay? Now that's a respect thing, how you approach them. I talk to my folks about it all the time. My advocacy board, that if you see the emails I put up in my office all the time about the way they approach people, being professional, that kind of thing. We look at that, but that's a problem. But it's a problem even right now with the curfew law. We're able to deal with it in most cases.
Yes, sir. Mr. Ray.
Larry, okay, Mr. Lakeman, can we get a copy of the ordinance that the city council is proposing? Do you have a copy?
Yeah, we do have a copy. They're going to get it tomorrow in their packet, and she's sent over, so we can certainly mail it to you, and they'll be discussing it next week, but not voting on it. So we actually have 3 weeks before anything can be voted. You can absolutely get a copy. We'll make it available to anyone that would like a copy. Yes, sir. Matthew.
Sam Robbins, everybody hear me? I'm not, it's a short statement. The question is that, we have come a long way. Truly, we do have a lot of things, children out of hand, and everybody has a problem. But when we come up this ordinance, martial law, and everybody's not a criminal. What happened to the state? It used to be a person that's innocent until proven guilty. We all know that's just something that's safe because taxpayers pay for an attorney that's already involved when you do something wrong. I'm just trying to be real. We have to talk with such but we say the state already got it. But what I'm concerned is if we bring some stuff into Valdosta, we got problems. You bring it in, all of the officers, it's not what Chief wanted. All of the officers of the sheriff department is not what Sheriff Park wanted to do. People is people. When somebody watching you, you do one thing. But I'm trying to put it this way, and then I'll sit down. Deal season is only a certain time. But if you're hungry, you should eat. Use that term, shoot again, Chief. Somebody did it over there. But what I'm trying to make the point is, if my child is out on the street anytime, and he's not doing anything on a taxpayer, he have a right to be on that street. That's right. You prejudge me, and you want to come up and just like the lady mentioned about at her age, if she out walking, police officer is out and he's tired, he's at the end of the shift, and he see her going wrong, and that's harassment. Stop me if I do anything wrong, but don't stop me. This is a free country. Don't stop me because I got to check this out. Check me out if I do something wrong. Don't check me out because I look like I look. I don't look like you, and you don't look like me. I think it's probably a done deal. But our ordinance, we have enough laws already in our city. Just impose them. And the parent that don't do what they should do to their children, and I hope the parents do not I hope they're here. The parent that those kids that went over and vandalized at high school, and then we went and begged for mercy for them. I said that was the wrong thing to do. They were big enough to do the crime, do the time.
Somebody else in the room?
Right here.
My name's Carolyn Preston Taylor. I'd like to share a story with you. First of all, I'd like to commend the Chief, Larry Hanson, Mr. Gooseby, I'm sorry. I had a story that this happened to me, truly happened to me, September the 21st, 1994. My husband of 26 years was murdered in our place of business. And when the person was finally arrested that murdered him, he was only 13 years old. He was at the bus stop that morning with all the high school students, or the middle school students. and he told them that he was going to hit Mr. Preston and he was going to get him some money. Well, the school bus driver saw him walk away from the school bus stop. He did not take the responsibility to go into the school and report that that young man did not get on the school bus. Then during all of the investigations and trials and everything that went on, we also found out that the school teachers knew for 2 weeks he had carried a gun to school for 2 solid weeks and had passed it from one student to the other. The teachers were afraid of him. So, once again, I commend you for trying to make a start and trying to do something. I often wonder if there had been a program like you're trying to start here, maybe that young man would not have spent 20-something years in prison and died there last year. He might have turned out to have been a good citizen of the community. And my husband would still be alive today. My grandchildren would know their grandfather. They never knew that. And I just, I understand what they're trying to do. And I certainly hope that all of you will just listen to the few words that I said, because when you go through something like what me and my family went through, you never overcome it. You never, ever overcome it. But you pull your bootstraps up and you go forward, and you try to make every day a better day for anybody else that's around you, even if it's a young person. And I try to tell my grandchildren and anybody else's children that I'm around or anything. With us having the facility that we have, Jungle Genomes, you'd be surprised at the things that I see with some of the children up there. And I take the time to talk to them. And that's what we have to do as a community. We all have to work together with these people, our religious leaders, everyone. What happened to me does not happen to me.
I just want to ask a question about I know our enemies over there, we want to kind of keep those kids off the street, right? And going out doing bad things. The reason I'm asking, have y'all considered anything like when you pick the kids up, some type of control area where you can hold the kids so that they don't flip back out? You might, I'm not saying put them in the jail. Have y'all looked into trying to find, come up with a law? We can place children in an area where while they're in those areas, they can take the freedom from them so that they don't have that, that they can go out, they hours, where they can play games and do that. Once you pick them up and doing something bad that they've done, then you can take them somewhere to contain so that they don't get like out there to do that. And I'm going to give you an example of why I'm saying that, because just recently it came to my attention that there was a young man who got out of the police and didn't bring him back home. It was after 10 o'clock. They brought him home to his mother. She did beat him. She talked to him. She told him why he needed to stay in the house and what was going on. She got to work. She got 2 other kids. She had 3 kids, 3 daughters. She taught him, did what she had to do, and they all went to bed around, I guess, 11, 12 o'clock. 1:30, she got a call from hospital that same morning and got out of the house. She didn't go to sleep. She got the daughters in bed. She got to work the next morning. She got to leave. She was going to stay in the house. He got out again. He got shot. And he was trying to he got shot. And she had to go to the emergency room. The reason I know about that, I had to go to the doors while she went to see about him. Now, she did what she was supposed to do. She just couldn't stay there and keep her eyes on him all night. What else would you do? I mean, some suggestions we want to do. Had he had a place where we could have kept him the first time when they brought him home around 10, he wouldn't have been able to get out and go and do what he did at 1 o'clock and get shot. And a lot of times when you pick them up like that and you put them in a controlled area, detained area, you can talk. You can have somebody there who can talk with the kids, find out what's going on with them. Maybe we can go from that way too and help them out. Because a lot of parents are doing all they can do. You just cannot. Just with that one, and let me tell you this too, right now, if this little boy that got shot, they're like, his mom still works, she still have had to talk to him, he still gets out after hours. So, I mean, with a case like this, you would take this parent to a parenting class with the child. She'll do everything she's supposed to. She can't keep eyes on him all the time because she's got to manage. You see what I'm saying? She can't change his bed because she can't time be a lot worse. So how, I mean, with her doing everything she is supposed to be doing, the child still getting out, because he got that freedom. And we had a place where we can detain him, maybe talk to them, find out what's going on with them, school these children, put something else in their mind, show them there's something else, just talk with them. He wouldn't be getting out. Take their freedom from them, is what I'm saying.
As we said, one of the goals of the program is the next morning, the investigators can go and understand the issue. If there's something going on with that child, they can refer them to an agency that can help. Okay, that's number one. Number two, under Georgia law, cities really cannot take any kind of action against the juvenile. That's the juvenile court judge, that's the state court, juvenile, we have to say, we're trying juvenile court, we absolutely can't take action. We can't so-called white sentence a young man that you're going to go to the facility for the rest of the night. And thirdly, recall, this is from 12 midnight to 5 a.m. I don't know where we send a kid at 3 a.m. in the morning to
That's what I'm saying. Have you not thought about trying to get a place, thought about trying to do
Juvenile justice, where they always.
Have you, I'm saying, but have you, so other than juvenile justice, have you ever thought about something that we can do? I mean, there are ways, to me,
That's the goal of this program, and the 7 lessons that are in the program. And then you have an issue, they're involved in a gang, or they got a drug issue, or they got a mental depression issue, we can help them get what they need in order to not be doing that. I mean, I'm certainly open, we can look at parks and recreation, and perhaps working with them to open some facilities, but right now, we don't have any legal authority to instruct the juvenile that they must do this. The city has no authority to do that.
That's what I'm saying, they look at that, you look at that, authority now to do something, right?
And whatever you want to elaborate anything, you just hear listen about it, so. Yes, sir. You got anything else?
Let me tell you something, you do a great job, and I'm gonna donate $1,000 to the organization, $50 each person that can't afford that school. And I want to thank you for being the kind of food shop. You know, marvelous. You know they don't feel.
So, Mr. Taylor said he wants to donate $1,000 so that any child that can't, a parent that can't afford to pay the $50 fee, it would go to Lowndes to pay that $50 fee.
God has blessed you. Let me tell you something about God. I don't care who you are, and you have not heard me mention trouble. You should never mention trouble. Neither a person. God has blessed me to make money and say something. And I'm willing to love to share it. Now, what she did not tell you, what she should have emphasized to me, was that 13-year-old wind up dying in prison at 33 years of age. Can you imagine the turmoil he went through in his hard prison while he was young enough to know? Think about that. Your children are your responsibility if you're going to have a rule or more than just quit on the plane. So please thank him. God sent it to you. He sent me mine. I have faith, and I gave her the purpose. They didn't need much of it, but she had a good one. I wish I could.
Judge Elder, you want to step up here? We're going to give Judge Elder a couple minutes.
Gentleman raised his hand over there.
Oh, we'll get to him. Ronnie?
Now, I personally feel that the law presented is good. My only complaint, and I'm glad Mr. Taylor addressed it, was a $50 fee the parents have to pay, especially since the agency is getting tax dollars from the county and the city.
Now, this is a program that doesn't exist and
Can't
doesn't
hear
have
me?
to have staff to help pay for it. So he was just asking about the $50 fee. And this is a newly created program that people will be paid to instruct, so it not all necessarily existing employees. And, you know, that's a nominal fee for a program. Certainly, if it changes a young person in a parent's life, a $50 investment is well worth it.
But I guess what my question is why is it necessary for the parents to pay $50 if the agency is funded or not?
Right.
The city county funds.
Well, the city does not fund LODAC, and I believe the county provides a small segment of funding, but most of their funding is not from government funding. They're a 501c3, right? So they're a nonprofit agency.
Well, on that training tip, what we've offered to do is to do a pre-class. That's free. Remember when I said we would do something for the parents before the situation comes in? It will help parents in a lot of other ways. We're really looking at the safety of these young people. We're looking at the law and all that stuff, but we really have to be concerned about the safety also. There's a lot of other components that's going to have to go with this to make it work. Jobs, schools, tutoring, all these things, mentoring, and we're doing these things. But it's going to take a lot of us out here to step in and give your expertise. A lot of you retired, you got good ideas. We need to solicit all of these things from us as a community.
Yes, sir, we'll come back to you. I just asked that to come up here and say something. Well, get your question, Mr.
Good evening. A lot of you don't know me, some of you do know me because you had contact with me at the juvenile court, and most of you are glad to see that I'm not there. and one of the reasons is that the court that I presided over tried everything it could to make parents responsible for what their own children did or didn't do. And I have a hard time here tonight because there seems to be a feeling that we shouldn't make these parents do what they're supposed to do, and if they don't do it, we shouldn't try to get them to do it. But I noticed this: there's not maybe one or two that has a child under 16 that's living in the home with them now. So we're not talking to the people who are not doing their job. We're talking to the people that can help the community enforce people doing what they're supposed to. And I want to share a few things with you. Ms. Rachel back there can share this. She'll tell you that I'm telling you the truth. For 42 years, I was a juvenile judge. But most of those 42 years, truancy was rampant in the city school system and the county school system. They just wouldn't go to school. And guess who wouldn't make them go to school? The parents wouldn't make them go to school. Every year, in January, February, the school people would come and say, Judge, you got to do something. This child missed 42 days of school. Well, what can you do after you let them miss that many days of school? So we started a program about 10 years ago. Ms. Rachel was involved, David Troy with Lowndes was involved, and that was my first effort to try to get community grassroots involvement where the problem was. Now, what the city's talking about here tonight doesn't affect, they won't go to juvenile court. They'll go to municipal court if they violate the law. But what we found out, I started a program. They missed more than 3 days of school, they had to come to court. Well, the biggest complainers were the city schools and the county school people. They said, Judge, we're going to have so many kids, we won't know what to do. So I said, well, we just hold court day after day after day until we finally get it under control. And if the kids didn't come, if they didn't comply, well then we'd kick them out of school. Everybody screamed. You can't kick a kid out of school. You can't make them not come to school. I said, well, the parents aren't making them come to school. What's the difference? The kids are getting what they want. They can get back in school if the parent and the child go through a program that Lowndes developed. And our truancy rate during the period of time I was there plummeted to virtually nothing. And we had a school protocol. We had efforts to make the kids come to school by making their parents make them come to school. You've got a problem in the city now because there are kids on the streets. And truth be known, about half the parents are on the streets with them. They're not responsible. They're not doing what they're supposed to do. And then they complain because people don't like to be made to do what they don't like to do. And time after time after time when I was in court, I would get on and they'll tell you, I wasn't very, very easy on the parents because that's where the problem is. The problem is not the kids. The problem is the parents. And you don't know how many hundreds of parents that told me, well, Judge, I can't look after them 24 hours a day. My question was, well, why in God's name did you have them? If you're not going to look after them, if you're not going to take care of them, if you're not going to make responsible citizens out of them, if you're not going to let them have a free public education that can lead to a worthwhile life. And a lot of these kids we found were what I call doomed to life. They have a parent that doesn't love them enough to take care of them. They have a parent that gets on drugs. You're going to find the same thing when you start enforcing this law. And you get to the root of the problem, which is irresponsible parenting. And the way you find that out is that you make the parents have to pay and have to come to court and have to be involved and have to do the right thing. And what they're proposing here is it's amazing to me. My father was a sergeant in the Army with a 5th grade education. My mother had an 8th grade education. And they had control. They knew where I was at all hours and all times. And it's sad when parents have children that don't look after them. You're going to find that this program that they're proposing will be an excellent program to help everybody in the community find the kids that have inadequate parents and address that problem and get them on the right road of recovery. I don't envy the police. I don't envy them for trying to enforce it because they tried it when I was a judge. It was very difficult. But all of you here is like talking to the choir. All of you can go home and encourage your children that have children to be aware of where they are and what they're doing. And if they're not, they're going to have to start getting more involved with the kids because of the new law. And I can tell you that the people that love that, they care for the kids, they work for the kids, they're already in every aspect of the community. And this will be another step in creating more responsible parenting for the community. Whether y'all agree with that or not, I can't make you agree with it, but I know from experience, we did the program in shoplifting, we did it in truancy, we did it in every place where we did it, we had the parents get involved, and it worked. So that's my observation for tonight. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Yes, my name is Billy McFadden. I'm the pastor of St. Paul A.M. Church here in town. My question and I guess concern is, well, more of a question. What type of analysis was done or conducted and perhaps even documented to come up with the curfew? I heard the chief say, and it's good that he had the opportunity to talk with VSU and folks like that, but was there any other type of analysis done to warrant or justify coming up with a program such as the curfew, and was it perhaps documented where we as citizens can take a look at it to see, everything that went into this decision to present this ordinance? Now, I, like many here, I recognize that it's important to keep our kids, my kids, they were off the streets. I did what was necessary, their mother and I, to ensure that they were raised in a home where they were taught the proper things and so forth and so on. But even with all that we did, cutting the grass one day. I saw that the screen was out of the window. And guess what? My daughter had gotten out. So as hard as you, as parents, work sometimes, you do find yourself in a dilemma to where you're darned if you do, darned if you don't. So the question again is, what type of analysis was done? Was there anything that you really looked at and then perhaps matched it up against Valdosta? How many kids out there that prompted us to come to this decision? Were they involved in games, or is it just a cross-section of the community? Any type of analysis that would help me to understand better perhaps where we are right now. And then secondly, I think it's important also, I noticed on the screen that there may come a time that the parent will be summoned to court. Is that the term that they use? Summoned to court?
Right. Yeah, getting the court summons.
Well, get it, okay. They may go before the judge. Now, here again, I'm trying to understand, and I understand the chief when he says that we don't want to put nobody in jail, we don't want to charge nobody. I applaud that. We want to help folks. But when we show up before the judge, what does that mean? How does that play out? What does the judge tell the person? What could possibly happen to that parent showing up before the judge in municipal court? It's not juvenile court, I don't think, but it's municipal court. What could possibly happen? What sentence or whatever? What can happen to that parent? Because I'm with the chief. I don't want to see him in jail. I don't want to see him in jail. I want to see him helped. And if they show up before the judge and the judge tell them, well, you didn't do any of these things that was outlined in the ordinance, so now you got to, so help me to understand that is the question.
Yes, sir. So, second question first, because it's more freshly on my mind. The ordinance will spell out what a first offense, which is a warning, and then a second offense was a parental responsibility class, and then it progresses up to a third offense. And judges, of course, under the city charter, a judge has the authority to fine up to $1,000. And so she has certain authorities because there's a distinction between law enforcement and the court system. So law enforcement makes a charge. It could be a charge of shoplifting, it could be a juvenile curfew, it could be anything. They don't determine the outcome of it. They make the charge. And then you go before the judge, in this case a summons, whether it's an overgrown lot, whether it's a shoplifting charge, you go before the judge. The judge then hears the evidence and decides the merits of the case. And then the judge has the discretion to determine what the outcome of it is. In this case, we're trying to write into the ordinance that the first time the police are going to give a warning. They don't even go to court. It's a warning. It's a warning citation, and it just gets it in the record. The second, they would go to court. And then the second offense, we're hopeful that the judge will require them to go before a parental responsibility class to learn to become a better parent with their child. And then there's a progression of it. I believe the third offense is a $200 fine, and the judge can give community service as well. And the fourth offense, I think, is a $500 fine, if I'm not mistaken. And so it's a progression like anything else, and it has to be progressive, or there's going to be no results with it.
Okay, so help me to understand.
The judge determines the guilt or innocence, and ultimately determines what the punishment is.
Right. Okay, and thank you for sharing that. Right. Help me to understand then, what happens when the person doesn't pay the fine?
Well, of course, then again, they would be summoned back to court because they failed to fulfill the terms of the judge's decision. And so then she has the discretion. She can give them community service if they're indigent. If they're unable to play because they can't afford it, then she's typically going to assign them community service to work off that time, the value of that time. Again, we make every effort in all our courts in the city to avoid putting people in jail. That is an absolute last resort. And I think
so that wouldn't be able to be written in the ordinance.
It's not because, every situation is not it, but I can tell you, Judge Bender practices that every day in court. Jail is a last alternative. First of all, it costs the city, it costs you money. Every time we put someone in jail, it's $50 a day to the taxpayers of the community.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Our goal is not to do that.
And I appreciate that, and I applaud your efforts.
because, and especially you holding these forums that give the citizens time to ask the questions and to play out scenarios in our own minds. I spoke with Chief earlier, and I said, Chief, you know, I think you're a wonderful guy. I said, there are times we may disagree, but that's just life. Now, you know, one of the things I personally do not want to see in this process is, and I hear you when you say it's not going to happen, but I do not want to see a mother who's working, single mom, working hard, trying to raise her family, put food on the table, shelter over their head, clothes on their back. And they end up in this process and somehow end up in the system where they're now perhaps on probation, where they're now, because they don't pay probation, they're working too hard, they don't have enough money. And now they get this warrant for arrest. Now they're put in jail, they get out of jail, they're on probation, and they're just in this cycle, which we already have in our society. We've got, you know, I mean, we all know and recognize that there is a systemic problem with the justice system. And for a person to get trapped in it, it is a bad thing. And I'd hate for this program, this ordinance, which I think has good intentions, to be a vehicle that would somehow end up placing a mom in the system. Because once you get in that system, Mr. City Manager, since I've been here in Valdosta almost 3 years now, I've worked with young men going to probation office. That ain't a fun thing. And it's hard as heck to be able to get off of that, out of that system. Sometimes that system will get you right there and then put you right back in it. So I'd hate for something like that to happen off of a well-intended ordinance.
The system you're describing is not what we're doing. Perhaps you're not aware, for instance, that in July we implemented our own fingerprinting system at our police department. So whereas in the past people were arrested for shoplifting, they were arrested for other charges, we're no longer doing that. We're actually now bringing them down there, fingerprint them, and give them a summons to court. You can cover some of the other things that you're doing now to avoid arresting, to avoid starting that trap that you're talking about. That's not what we're doing. We are doing the opposite of what you're fearful of.
Let me make it simple for you. The only way parents go into that situation is that they're clearly not watching their kids. They don't want to watch their kids, and they're making us do it. Period. That's it. Now, like I said it before, and you're right. It's okay to disagree. I understand. But look, let me say this too. My mom, I grew up without a father too. My mom worked her tail off. In fact, she worked during the evening. She'd go in at 3 o'clock in the evening, get off 11 o'clock at night. I was stuck doing homework by myself. And she took care of me as best she could. We're not targeting those folks. That's not what we're trying to do here. We're not trying to do it at all. The only way a parent is going to be in that situation, and let me say this too, Larry's right, that you can't take discretion from the judges. You just can't. The law won't allow it. Now, Bernita's not here, Judge Bender, but I've seen enough of her cases where I know the majority of the time she's working out some other intervention too. Okay? And that's what's great about this process. We do it ourselves. We have a chance to catch those kids before they do something silly.
We got 3. Mine's been up over here too a long time.
Y'all didn't answer the main question that he asked, was what brought about the analysis.
Okay, what brought about the analysis? There's an analysis.
That was my question.
This summer, and it was significant. I think you said, Chief, over 4,500 vehicle break-ins. I'm trying to recall now, I think about 60% of them were done by juveniles. So the analysis, we had a major juvenile crime issue. All over the community. All over. He's already shown the PowerPoint spread all over the city. All over the city.
Chief, may I ask a question? My question was piggybacking off of his. I don't have a new question. And if you notice, she had a question too, but that's part of my question. My question is what the pastor asked was nothing more than if you had all those break-ins, if you read the newspapers, and if you watch the TV, and you're still ignorant to the fact of what's going on in the city, then it leaves the people at a disadvantage. Am I right, brother? And that's what I think the question that he was asking. What publicity was given to the people to educate the people so when you implement this, at least we will know what's going on. I think right now a lot of us don't know what's going on. I know I'm retired military and I'm at least of average intelligence and I don't know what in the heck is going on.
That's why we're having 3 community meetings and 3 public hearings before the mayor and council to educate people.
Right. We understand that, but what he was asking in terms of what have we done to educate the people.
Let me say a couple of things. I know all of you saw the news today where a young man down in Florida ambushed a police officer. And then he shot himself after that. And his mother said she had done everything she could to make sure that he learned what was right from wrong, and she could not do anything with it. What does it say right here? A mother showed up to the police department right there and requested help. That mother was needing help. Orlando, or wherever this place was that this happened, they weren't offering this kind of program. And what we're trying to do is help the parents. That's all we're trying to do, is help the parents. We know, I mean, most of you in this room are like me. Your parents didn't have any problem raising you. Your parents took care of you when you did wrong. Mine did, and I'm sure most of yours did because you're concerned about it. But the fact is, there are some parents who can't handle their children. And when that happens, the community, not the police department, but the community needs to step in and help that parent. And that's all we're asking to do.
We had a couple more that had their hands raised. I'm going to give you, sir. Ladies first.
I just wanted to suggest to Pastor McFadden that you go visit Judge Murphy in Vendor's Court and see how she runs it. When we take that Citizens 101 class, we all get to go in and meet with her and talk to her about issues. And you can go in and see that it is a very fair process, and what she tries to do more than anything is to work out a solution that's fair for the person that's been brought before her and for the community. There's a lot of community service involved. And the other thing I was going to say is my husband's a judge in Wilmington, and when these young people get in front of him who have committed infractions, a lot of the time he sentences them to ride the garbage truck. And that is a big deterrent for future infractions. And the mothers will often be with them, and they'll say, well, I'd rather go to jail because I want to do it on the weekend. She'll say, no, you're riding the garbage truck.
Another point, and I'm going to let this gentleman ask this question, I wish Councilman Vickers was still here. Something we've always talked about. You talk about consequences, and what I want to talk about is unintended consequences. So sometimes when you're doing something new, we always say when we adopt a new ordinance, if there are unintended consequences, we're going to come back and address those. Because we pass an ordinance does not mean it's going to stay that way forever. So what I'm saying to you all is if we pass this ordinance and there's some unintended consequence, something happened that we did not anticipate that's not good, we're going to come back and change the ordinance and fix it. We have that responsibility to our community, so I will tell you that. We're going to be prepared for unintended consequences. Yes, sir.
My point is too, I'm representing I'm also very active on the college prison system. I've been with them for 4 years. The point I'm trying to make is, and I follow Chief when we talk about those certain things. I spent 20 years in race relations Air Force. My job was to fuel racial tension for 20 years. This program has come out of, correct me if I'm wrong, a reactionary program. People are upset with people breaking in all this time. I've seen statistics, high incident of that. So you're saying this curfew is going to, but look around you, folks. We're the young generation here. We're dealing with the X, Y, Z generation. So we're saying this program is reactionary. That's why a lot of civic leaders here don't support it, because they say every time something happens, we go into a reactionary mode. But what about pro-reaction? I think Elvis Presley summed it all up a long time ago. He wrote the song In the Ghetto. He said, until we deal with the social unrest, the economic injustice, the parents, look, you talk about our kids. How many of you have problems with your daughters keep them in control. I have 6 children, I have 18 grandchildren, and I have 6 great-grands. These young people are out of control, so you're saying we're going to come at the parents. Babies raising babies. And if they don't get it together, we're going to counsel them, but we're going to find out later on. This within itself. And then like the Reverend said, how are we going to control this? Because if you come in one sector of town, the Valdosta is predominantly minorities. So how are you going to do to make it fair across the board? Do we realize that most of the young people in prison, the black men, they got more black men in prison than they had slaves in America. These young people are angry. These young people are mad, but we're telling that baby who raised a baby, unless you do something about it, you're going to be in trouble. And that parent will come back and say, I did. But what happened? You sit in the social services child abuse. I did, but my kid is not going to listen. They're going to be right back on the street like the lady said right here. You know, I'm not trying to attack this, but I'm saying look at all avenues in this program. When that teenager say, Mom, like I went to at-risk kids, the hell with you. MF this and MF that. That parent said, when I have a child like this, what are y'all going to do about it? I done tried everything. You going to send me to this program, I got to pay $50? A lot of parents are going to say, I ain't paying no $50. Because that's not the problem. So one thing I'm saying is we look at this and put it all together. As that parent said back there, when my child get out of hand, I did all I could do for this child. I had my daughter call me, come get your grandson. The police say they can't do nothing with him unless he gets in trouble. Social services can say they can't got no program for them. So what program are you guys going to create to deal with the youth program? That's all I have to say.
I just want to say one thing, Mr. Hanson. Good evening, everyone. I'm City Councilwoman Vivian Miller from District 1. I really want to thank Mr. Hanson and Chief Children because I cried on this show when this ordinance came out because I wanted everybody's input. But I'm going to go now to law enforcement. Myself and Nurse Erin worked at the county. I have seen 15-year-olds come to at the county jail, handcuffed, shackled, I say like a dog, okay? And they crying like a baby because they don't know nothing. And when you put a 15-year-old in this cell with a bunch of 30 and 40-year-old men, and you got to go home that night as an officer, you can't sleep at night because you know what's going to go on. I have got out of my bed 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. Nurse Mary can vouch that. Go back to the county jail to remove that kid out of that cell because I was a mother. Young man killed my only daughter, so I know what it is to lose a child. My only daughter, young man, I went in law enforcement because my goal was to say I didn't want another mother to hurt like I hurt. So to lose a child, that's like losing a limb. So again, I say, I thank you all for coming out for this. I want you to come to our next meeting because like Mr. Hanson said, our goal is this, to listen to what you have to say, add to it, take it to the chief, take it to the city council, and try to make a difference that we can save our children. I don't want our 15-year-old children with a record. I don't want our 15-year-old kids in jail. I see every day young men call me. I take them to Goodwill. I even take them to Lydia. I've taken them to Langdale in my car, trying to help them get a job. And when they get there, they haven't told me they got a record. And they haven't finished high school. All the job owners want to know now, tell them the truth. They want to help our children. They want to give our children a job. So what I want to again say to you all is thank you. Let's pass the word. Let's come to our next meeting. Let's have some reasonable explanations to bring to Mr. Hanson and the chief that we can still, and to the mayor and to the city council, that we can make a difference to save our children. In District 1, there's a diverse race there now. My next door neighbor's a Mexican. Half of the time I can't say uno, dos, tres, but I'm learning how to talk to them. Okay? So it's everywhere now. But also I can tell you this. I can walk out of my neighborhood on Troop Street 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. You got 15-year-olds walking the streets with their pants down, my husband drive truck. 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning, young girls walking into your vehicle, knocking on your window. You know what they want. So what we got to the schools and mentor our children. We got a lot of mothers and ladies that's going to the school mentoring our children. But how many men do we have going to take 1 hour to eat lunch with a child? 1 hour to say, I'm going to take you to somewhere different, to the movies. I'm going to take you to show you that there's a different lifestyle. I'm going to show you how to pull your pants up. I'm going to show you. I took a young man to Goodwill. He walked in there with some pants down to here, cap on backwards. I didn't say a word because I didn't want him to think I was trying to belittle him. But when I got in there, the young man that was in control asked him, pull your pants up, turn your cap around. So this is what I'm asking, is that I'm not knocking no minister,
Sister Cody,
not knocking no church.
You got a group of veterans that go
And I know that,
and
and I'm going to say this, the veterans can't do it all by themselves. G.B.R. need help, W.G. Nunn need help, Macy O'Horn need help, Valdosta High School need help. These are principals that the first day of school, every one of them cried out to me, we need help. I drove a school bus. I had kids, you can say, sit down, VA, sit down, and time you ride them up, the mama come to the bus and cuss you out. But you won't guide, you gotta have guidelines. That's all I'm asking you all. Let's get together at the next meeting, let's have some reasonable answers, bring more people out, and I thank you.
Thank you, Councilman.
We're going to take about 2 more questions, and we'll stay around and entertain questions. And as Councilman Cody said, we got 2 more public hearings, we got council meetings, but yes, sir, you have your hand up.
My question is it possible that there's some things that I can pick up a copy of the ordinance and anybody else?
Yes, sir. Tomorrow, it will go out to the mayor and council, so then starting Monday, you come to the city hall, to the city manager's office, or we'll actually post it on our city website.
I'll come by to see it.
Come out Monday.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I'm Pastor Bradford, Pastor and ministers and the churches are where they've always been. The church has been the crux of our community. That's right. We haven't gone anywhere. It's those that have left the church. Churches, I know Pastor here at Fadden, St. Paul, Morning Star, all of us have active youth ministries. And we're just like the chief, begging the parents to bring their children. Even going out when we have VBS, putting signs out, bring them, people will come get them. So I believe that what we're doing is right, that you're trying to hold the parents accountable. I do believe that, and I believe it's at the good intentions of your hearts. But at the same time, we understand what climate this country is in right now. We understand it. And as Chief alluded to the fact earlier that he apologized for how he went about it in the previous meeting or so, presentation means everything, especially in this climate. And I thank you, Chief, for acknowledging that and doing a better job, because how I heard it come across is nothing like what you gave me tonight.
That's because I was ready.
So this is one of the exactly. And so this is where it comes to. But before we put that information out there, be careful with the ears that are receiving it, because I understand what you all doing, and I'm in the fight with you. Believe me, I want to hold out here. If I can hold all my members accountable, I'll be doing it too. But at the same time, I understand that we have some angry people in our community. For whatever reason, some may be justified, some may be unjustified, but there's a lot of anger and hostility now. And one of my fears is that one of the officers approach one of these young men or ladies who's perhaps 17 and a half or 18, not in that curfew range, and they get approached. Show me your annex, how that officer approaches them. First thing they say, and I understand, Chief, you're one of the few chiefs that I know that actually hold their officers accountable. And let's applaud that.
Every officer.
Yes. But we also know, as you alluded, there's some bad apples in every function, in all organizations. But just that one could tee off something and make that pot boil over. And so, as someone else question is, what if you pull a child over and they don't have an ID? And say, for instance, it's not a juvenile, somebody's 18, and they get hostile, you know, just upset because they were pulled over when they know they have a right to be out. And I'm kind of old school. 12 o'clock, 5 a.m., I'm in the bed unless my phone rings. But we know we have rights.
Okay, well, listen, we're going to stay around. We'll be happy to talk to any of you individually. I want to thank you all for being here. We're having a second forum
Oh, man.
mothers to be angels. You just might be looking at an angel right now.
This is the Ghetto Free Press. I'm George Boston Rhines. Today is September the 6th, 2013. I just got out of juvenile court, wherein the mother and father of the 14-year-old black African-American girl that were handcuffed, placed on the floor, face down, and accused of hitting a educator. Judge James Counsel was the judge. The young lady lost her case, and the mother and father wanted me to do a video concerning what took place in James Counsel courtroom, and I've done that, and I will be making that public in a few minutes. But somewhere here in Valdosta and Lowndes County, the people had better wake up to what's going on in their beloved community. I did not lie on any of my videos. I was told, even today as you will see in the video, wherein the educator at Pine Grove School either changed his statement or somebody got next to him, among other things. But you will see that as they address the issues. They're going to show you in writing what was said, and then what was said on the stand. I had no idea that the justice system here, well, let me get to why. We'll get to that when I do her video. Once again, this is the Ghetto Free Press. Here in Valdosta, I'm sorry, but if you all don't get this, you won't know about it. And so I want you all to know what just took place at juvenile court, September the 6th, 2013. Now, you've heard me talk about the 14-year-old girl in her situation at Pine Grove Middle School under the leadership of Wes Taylor of all Lowndes County school systems. Today, the mother and father, I'm going to ask them to join me, they're going to tell you what happened today with Judge what?
Counsel. James Counsel. In the state of Georgia, if you get jumped or get attacked by 2 or more people and you in school, you would get the same punishment as the attackers in the state of Georgia, well, at least Lowndes County. That was our decision today. Well, not our decision, that's what the Honorable Judge James Counsel ruled. He ruled, hey, even though she did not start the fight, even though she might have finished the fight, but because she did not stop, I wonder why, because people were jumping, maybe. 2 people jumping. Maybe that's why she ain't stopped. But if you do those in the state of Georgia, or Lowndes County, you're just as guilty as other ones. Now, I give this to Mr. Counsel. I thank him for not giving our daughter jail time. So that's because from the other judge, that'll be throw you in jail for sneezing. But for Mr. Counsel not to give her jail, God bless him for that. But I told him I don't agree with him.
He took a little offense to that, didn't he?
He took offense. This is my courtroom.
I am the judge.
I am the judge. My word is law. Well, he didn't say that last part. But he did say this is his courtroom and this is his decision. I still don't have to agree with your decision, guy. I don't. Because I promise you, because you look a little older, so you probably got some grandchildren. You probably got a granddaughter. Now, she's just like my daughter, and somebody ran up on your grandchild, pushed your grandchild into the locker. How would you want the judge to handle that case?
Not only that, the defendant asked him, he said, I don't know what to tell her in this situation with what had happened. I don't know what to tell her. What was she supposed to do? What was she supposed to do in this incident? He asked the judge, give us an answer. He said, was she supposed to flee or fight? If she bend over, it could have been worse. So what was she supposed to do?
Judge didn't have an answer for that.
Well, from my observation, I wish you all was, let's hit some of the major points.
Okay.
One of the major points is that he went as far as to say, to put her in fetal position, am I right?
Yes, that's what Mr.
Attorney Guy said, fetal position. That means you just like you ball like a ball and let a person kick you or whatever. And so, in other words, and in addition to that, the council doctrine apparently don't mean nothing when it comes to the school system. Am I correct?
Obviously, and also the law of justification, because you could break a law in order to defend yourself, and that makes you justified. May not be innocent of it, but you're justified. So that was our lawyer's point of it, and Terry, guys, he's pretty daggone good. He argues his butt off, and if you need a lawyer, I recommend you go to the guy Terry. Mr. Terry went ahead and said, yes, she did break these, but in law of justification. She was justified in breaking these because she was shoved into the locker, and somebody else had hit her while she was fighting all the girl. So she has a right to defend herself. But obviously, he stressed that more than one time. But obviously in the state of Georgia, Lowndes County, maybe just Lowndes County, because there ain't no place like this place, in this place, near this place.
But let me join in here to say this, is that it seems to me that on an earlier YouTube that we had done, I thought, from being in the courtroom today, I thought that maybe we had it wrong. Because, and I'm saying this to all of my YouTube watchers, when I made the statement that the educators that this 14-year-old, their daughter, had hit, I thought that he had made a statement in writing. I thought that he had said that she never hit him. But today, apparently, what happened to that?
Oh, first of all, the attorney guy showed him letters that he wrote to the deputy stating that he was not punched, hit, he wasn't harmed, he wasn't bruised. That he wrote to the Deputy Atkins, on this particular incident on May 24th. Also showed on June where he wrote the letter to me as the mother that he was not harmed in any way. Now tell him, what did he say on the court?
Now, get the court today. He said, I don't recall being hit. So they bring up some stills. They had took some still pictures of the surveillance. Now, here's how the surveillance works for the school system. It works in 10-second increments, okay? So whatever increment they got in those 10 seconds, I think they broke it down frame by frame. I still have not seen those stills, okay? Now, on the video that we have, well, back up. On those stills, it appears that she hit him. Now, appears.
But on
now,
the video.
On the video, we got the video. I have slowed it down. It shows he missed this man's face by a good 6 to 8 inches. Slow down. So for that to be argued and for him to have one thing and then go completely different with it, I think somebody got to him, man. Just simple as that. What I mean somebody got to him, maybe somebody went up on him, hey, you need to change your statement. Hey, you need to do this. I don't know what happened, but from what he told us and what he sent and what he told us to our face,
and what he told the deputy, what he wrote in writing,
it's something totally different from what was said today.
And he stated earlier, from his understanding, he wasn't hit. He had no knowledge of being hit. So how can you not know you hit? Even in the midst of a fight, once it's over, you're gonna feel a bruise or something. You wrote this after the fact. So that lets me know you was never hit. So why did you change your story when you got on the stand? And with that being said, the letters that he sent and the statement that he wrote, and then he turned around and changed his statement on the stand, makes him an incredible witness, so it should have been thrown out. But that didn't happen.
Well, so what do you all plan to do? I think you said when you came out of the room that somebody asked you about probation or something like that. So where do you all hope to go? What you gonna do? I mean, you gonna accept it? What you gonna do?
Right now, we don't want to put our hands out of what we gonna do because we already know how this place works. We're gonna deal with the situation, and when they know, they'll know. But my thing is, when we got out, here's a guy in our face wanting us to sign, or when we can meet with you for probation. And I'm like, really? We just got out of court. We still dealing with the issue that I stood there and told the judge and broke it down by point by point, and told him I thought I was coming to better. Here's my daughter, lived in Miami all of her life, and myself. Never had a record, never had any problems, but we come here, her first year in school, in your school system, she thought these girls were her friends. We took them around. We thought they were her friends, and she gets attacked by them. Not only that, the young lady that did the assault was on the stand, and she lied several times on the stand, and the defendant proved that she was lying, and then the judge didn't even throw her out, her statement out. She lied and said, oh, my daughter pushed her beforehand. Where was the evidence? What proof did you have? You can't go on stand and make up. And they knew that was makeup. Every evidence proved my daughter's innocence. They couldn't tell us what she was supposed to do if somebody assaulted her. They couldn't give us answers, but all they wanted is a guilty verdict. So to me, before we had an opportunity to get in that court, the judge's mind was made up, the prosecutor's mind was made up, and that's why they had all those stuff together, because they already knew at the end of the day, they're gonna pretend like they heard it, like they did what Judge Ellaby did in his courtroom. They're gonna pretend like they're hearing the case, and he already had his decision made. That's how I feel about it.
Wow.
I can't disagree with that, man. I cannot disagree. How my mind is boggled. How can you, being a person that starts a fight, to being a person that defends herself in the fight, get the same punishment than the person that started the fight? And on top of that, it ain't one of the two of them.
What about the issue? What about the issue of the attorney guy when he asking about how much she weighed, and then about him having to handcuff and was anybody else handcuffed? I mean, why did you all take all that?
Because this man, Deputy Atkins, tackled.
Less than 100-pound child.
Yeah, tackled.
And that's what he wanted to address. There was no need for force. He trying to say she was forceful or whatever. You still almost, what, 300?
You see the fight. You see y'all, bro, take this girl from one side all the way to the other side. Whether she's struggling or not. From one side all the way to the other side.
And he about this tall.
Yeah, so if this man here about 100, maybe 155, if that, and move her, why the hell 300-pound man need to tackle her?
Okay.
Once again, I need to ask the judge that. If it was your grandbaby or your baby, would you want this man tackling your daughter?
Not only that, he never did tell me as a parent what he did. If I never had the pictures to know that this would happen. No one in the school system, including the principal, the teachers, or no one, told me that my child was laying on the ground in handcuffs.
One other thing. Now, I'm going to play this, and I'm trying to be unbiased, but how many parents in Valdosta and Lowndes County that know this ever even happened?
That's a good question.
I mean, you went to the newspapers, you gave out stuff at least for somebody to say that something took place.
Yes.
In the state of Georgia, is it a law against reporting when it deals with a young person?
I don't know. I have to disagree because I know I think Valdosta Daily Times did a case similar to my daughter where the lady was actually hit and hurt, where the child actually hurt the teacher. I think it was in the Valdosta City Schools, but that was reported. So now you got a similar incident dealing with my daughter, but she didn't do any of that. But it wasn't reported.
I have another question, then we can close it out. My question is, if they come after me again, and I'm sure they will, why did you all, didn't you all ask me to do a video?
Yes.
Why did you all want to do this video today? Why did y'all ask me to do it?
It needs to be out there, man.
Yes.
Somebody need to know something. They need to know what's going on about Austin, man. It ain't just my daughter, in our eyes, innocent. Now, if she was guilty or did something, I would have been the first one. My wife been the first one. Now
Let's
you're
take
wrong.
a plea deal.
Yeah,
You're wrong. Let's take a plea deal because it's your best interest.
Yeah, because you did this.
You did this.
But that wasn't the case this time.
She was innocent.
If you think there was an injustice here today, and you also think that Judge Ellerby did the same thing,
yes.
If this is an injustice you feel, what do you think that the people of Valdosta and Lowndes County got to look forward to?
Man, they feel hopeless, dog.
I understand why they don't get up and fight for nobody. Now I understand why they lay down and let whatever happen. Because when you got the judicial system being the one that does all the rightful things and do they deceit and lying and everything else, then what you expect? When they cover up and do anything they can want to do and write false reports and do false arrests, and then you got judges that's in the courts that sit there and snap them on the head. I got you.
So here in recent history, we have a young 17-year-old young man whose death is being questioned.
Yes.
I'm under a criminal trespass warning that nobody want to take credit for issuing.
Yes.
Your daughter was tackled, we still going to use that term,
yes, he was
and handcuffed, and had an educator to provide you written statement that he never was attacked or hit, and today he changed his decision because of whatever.
Interrupt you there. I'm glad you brought that up about the educator. How about our principal wasn't even subpoenaed?
That's it.
They didn't want the principal in there.
Because, that's right. I was told by our lawyer that he had a subpoena and he was going to be there. When I suggested to him, please present this evidence, besides her grades, what the principal said, he didn't do that. Now, I have to say that. He did not put that in the evidence. The principal was never subpoenaed, and he sent us a letter stating that he was told that none of these things happened. Now, all the time I've been asking why nobody wants to subpoena the principal who's an evidence, for us. Nobody wants to do it. When we went to the meeting, and I get you this, we went to the meeting just yesterday with our defendant, Terry Guy, about this case. From the time he had evidence or whatever, that was our first time meeting with him about this case. I asked him specifically, is the principal gonna be there? He told me yes. The principal wasn't there. I don't know why he wasn't there. I don't even think, honestly, I'm starting to think he was never subpoenaed to be there. So my thing is, if that was the case, I should have been notified of that so we could have subpoenaed him to be on the stand and to deliberate on what he stated to us in his portion of what happened and transpired.
I got a theory why he wasn't subpoenaed. Because he's a man of integrity. We sat down in front of him. We had talked to him a couple different times. This man's a man of integrity. I'm pretty sure his statement wasn't going to move. Tim?
Let's not call names.
Yeah. No, I'm saying, no, I'm talking about me. This is
okay, I got you. Okay,
He told me, Tim, he said, I reviewed the statements, and based off what I read, no one was hit or struck. If you got any other questions, give me a call or give me an email. He gave me an email, and he also sent a copy of the grades. Now, that right there, after you read the statements, after he sat down and read everybody's statement, because he had to take all the people's statements, he's a principal. I'm pretty sure he know what's going on. He's a smart dude. You know what's going on in the school. So, if he gonna take these statements, read over them, okay, nobody was hit. Then why you still go for this, at the time it was a battery they went for.
So then they dropped it to assault misdemeanor. I did some research. In assault, the person had to intentionally try to hit you. You know what I'm saying? It's supposed to be voluntary. My daughter did not voluntarily hit anybody. And the intent means somebody intentionally tried to hit you. So now you were playing. Like you saying, oh, we think she intentionally. What was she? And then, oh, that's the crazy thing. Let me get that in there. The deputy said he didn't even know she was in an altercation with another young lady. He thought she was in an altercation with the teacher. So based on that, you didn't even do your research or your investigation to find out what went down. The young lady had an opportunity to walk away on her own accord with nobody assisting her, and she was the one that assaulted my daughter and started this. So now you tell me, with that evidence presented, how was this case done fairly? How was justice done fairly? It wasn't.
All right. All right.
My only last thing I have to say, if anybody thought about moving to Valdosta from any city, I suggest you don't. Find somewhere further up. Don't stop here, because your child may be in this system.
Unless you grown and your kid's grown.
That's the only reason. No business should wanna. This is like Sanford. Hey, that's the best way to tell you. It's like Sanford, Florida, where Trayvon Martin got killed. That's what it's like here. So if you want to be a part of this kind of community, then you come on down. But if you have sense enough to know you don't want to be a part of that kind of community, don't ever stop here. Keep going, and be careful when you go on the expressway that you drive carefully, because they got police waiting to bring you down. What's that saying? You come on vacation, leave on probation. That's their whole motto.
Wow. Okay, thank y'all very much. Once again, this is George Foster. This is the Ghetto Free Press. KYRC, which means Know Your Rights campaign. I have learned a lot from this. And to everybody who watches this across the nation, you see, what's hurting this area is that this may seem like an isolated incident, but when you put it all together, and this is what I've been trying to do, just like I said, I was picked up, I violated no law. This 14-year-old, she did not start the fight, and I know what the school policy is. There's zero tolerance for fighting, so I can't talk about that. But one thing for sure, I always thought if you start a fight, then definitely you should be given more licks. When I was in school in the 70s, in other words, I would get 3 licks, but the person that started may get 12. But seem like those days are long gone. Y'all can close anything else or not, this is it.
And Know Your Rights campaign. That joker might be hard to prove in the city of Valdosta and the state of Georgia and county of Lowndes. You're gonna do it, be diligently. Have the spirit of Kendrick Johnson's dad, and be ready to fight to the end, man, because these jokers ain't gonna give you nothing.
All right.
Even if you're right, they're not going to give you anything. Even if you're just, you're fair, you did the right thing, you're going to be guilty. And I'm sorry, I have to say this, and I'm not a racist, and I know people say that when they're not a racist, but I'm just being real. Because I wonder if it was a blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl, would we be sitting here in a courtroom today?
All right. Once again, this is the Ghetto Free Press in Valdosta, Georgia, doing what we do. And seem like it's just reporting the truth. That's all we can do. You may not like it. You may think it's ugly. But look, I didn't create these scenarios. It is what it is. Bye-bye. Once again, this is the Ghetto Free Press. It seems as if, though, the Free Press is generating some attention. I really don't know how to address it, except for I think more people need to get them a camera, use your iPhone, and start reporting what's happening in Valdosta. And not only Valdosta, all these cities who don't have a free press to tell their stories. Shucks, I don't know where to start at. Come on, Shannon, I don't know where to start. But we just left out of the courtroom, as I stated earlier, and I don't know where this, help me with it. You got, this is the first time this has happened. I was told a couple of days ago that there's a possibility that something that we had posted on YouTube would have some type of impact, negative or positive. I'm not even sure, but it probably was positive, and it could have been with the prosecution. And so it seems as if though the prosecution here in Valdosta and Lowndes County, maybe state court, maybe federal, I don't know, maybe they are watching our YouTube channel, and we want them to watch it. And maybe it's a time now for me to go back and to recap everything that I've posted, the issues. And I will assure you that if anybody condemn me on the truth that we speak, I want you to call me and let's sit down and dialogue as intelligent men and women. But today, after we left the courtroom, we stopped down to MLK corridor and we cut a video. But now Shannon will have another story to tell. So what happened after you said you went back out there? Tell us about what happened there.
Well, we went back out to the courtroom because I wanted to speak to the judge. My concern was then my daughter's safety. Because at this school, all the young ladies that were involved still attend the school. She sees them on a daily basis. They're still trying to have conversations with her. And I was afraid for her safety because I wasn't sure she would be safe, being that the judge has never stated that she can defend herself, you know, so no one gave us answers. What was she supposed to do if she's attacked? All he told her is because you're on probation for 2 years, that if you get in a little bit of trouble, you're headed down to the county, the juvenile department. So I was concerned because I'm like, these girls are still there. Remember, she was assaulted by them girls. So now she can't defend herself because you're saying she can't because you never gave us an answer. All you said she should have never fought. So what else was she supposed to do? Like the lawyer presented to the case, is she supposed to ball up in a fetal position and let them just beat on her? So my concern was to my daughter, like she's not gonna be safe in this environment. So I went down there to the courts to find out what can I do for her safety, because I felt like right now, this is not a place for her because she's not gonna be safe in any school system because something can happen to her. And I went and a deputy, you know, came to me and my husband and my daughter, and he said, the crap that we see on YouTube, follow the chain of command so that if anything goes down, you know, you have followed the chain of command, can't nobody say something. So he let us know in no certain terms, they've been watching YouTube. Now the funny thing is, as us, we never told anybody we were on YouTube. So now I know that this case had nothing to do with the evidence. It had everything to do with what we said on YouTube. They made their decision based on what we said on YouTube. Because if they made the decision based on the evidence, they would have found her not guilty. In any other state, in any other country, they would have found my child not guilty. But because of what we said on YouTube, now she's guilty. So you're punishing her for the things we said. She's a child. We're an adult. You got an issue with us, then take it up with us. We're here to reason with you.
Or at least tell us why. I would like to know what's on YouTube that is causing people to freeze up, lock up, or throw out, or getting ready to throw down. After all, if what I brought or what they brought to me, I didn't do it on my own. They came to me because they said that they went to the Valdosta Daily Times, they went to ABC, they went to the TV stations. Those are the professionals. But if I had not put this on YouTube, would nobody have known about it? But when you look on YouTube, you will see that people are interested in this case. And I'm sure that a lot of parents who have children in the school system, just like I was picked up for criminal trespassing, these parents are concerned about their children. It ain't got nothing to do with YouTube. It got more to do with the safety of the people that come here to Valdosta, Lowndes County, and the state of Georgia. So I don't see no need of trying to take it out. Look, the question is, was she handcuffed?
Yes, she was.
Was she thrown on the floor or taken to the floor?
Yes, she was. Several of the teachers stated that, and even the officer.
Is it true or not that she was not the aggressor?
True. That was stated in there as well.
Do you not have documentation to show that the educator that Robert Atkins, the deputy, said was hit, he said he didn't hit her? Do you have that in black and white?
Yes, I have that in black and white right here. And I also have someone that was in authority over the teacher, the educator that sent us a letter, and he was not subpoenaed to come in court. I don't know why.
Okay, further. So, is it true that you went to the news media and nobody would cover your story?
No, they would not.
Is it true or not that when you when you went to try to file legal papers against the deputy, that the Judge Terry at probate court said you could not do it?
Yes, that's true.
When that failed, you also then went to Superior Court, am I correct?
That's true.
Then you filed it, got it through, and you did file it, am I correct?
That's true.
You then went to Judge Ellaby, am I correct?
Yes, he was not supposed to be over, but he somehow, he said he helps with special cases. So if our case wasn't that important, why did he consider our case a special case?
Did you not say that you felt that Judge Ellaby did not look at what you presented and seemed like he had his mind already made up? Is that true or false?
That's true.
All right, so you feel like you have been getting the runaround all from day one?
Yes, and we went to, first of all, we wouldn't even went through the court system if we were allowed to make a complaint against the deputy. Let me remind you, the deputy not once have told us that he had tackled our daughter down to the ground and that he arrested her when I spoke to him on May the 24th to go pick up my child because I found out she was in an altercation and that she was assaulted. He did not have any recollections of what transpired. Let me explain to you what we found out in court today, that this deputy thought that my daughter was fighting with the teacher. Not that she was fighting with another student trying to defend herself, but she was fighting with a teacher. So he based his evidence on what he saw at the end and not what started in the beginning. So he didn't even have no recollections. There's nowhere in the picture showing that he came and tried to get the situation taken care of.
So, what? I mean, when I saw your daughter here, I thought she went back to school. Why did y'all, I know you've already stated, I'm just state it again, for these people, why did you keep her out again?
Because we are in fear of her life. We are fearful that something may happen to her. We know that the school system, let me explain why we say that. My daughter leaves our house, she goes to the school, Pine Grove Middle, where she's dropped off and have to get in another bus. While she's dropped up, that same deputy works there and he's there monitoring the children that come out. So I'm afraid for my daughter's life. Not only that, when she goes to the school, Lowndes County, and I'm sure you guys are familiar with, that's the incident with KJ Johnson that's going on right now and that the world are finding out. That's the school she attends with the evidence that's going on that he was hit in the neck or something like that.
Blunt transformer?
Blunt transformer. I'm concerned because not only that, you have those young ladies that attacked her in the middle school attend that school. And she sees them on a daily basis. They still trying to say stuff to her. And I'm afraid for my child's life because I'm afraid I'm going to get the phone call, something happened to your child. And it may be the next day.
So now, we are caught up in a dilemma. They don't want you to do certain things because they say it may end up on YouTube or something like that. But let me ask you an honest question. If you had not had access to this YouTube channel, what or who would know about your case?
Nobody would know about the case. You know what I really feel strongly what would have happened to my daughter? She would have been put in juvenile justice. If we didn't have the evidence, they can say they won't, but social media has saved my daughter from having to be locked down because it would have been her word against the officer, and they would have took the officer's word even though he was nowhere around to know exactly what went down. And so with us doing what we had to do to protect her, the children that put it on Facebook saved my daughter's life from being locked behind bars. That's what kept her out because the evidence was prevalent because it was on YouTube, and the picture of her being arrested helped us realize our daughter was arrested because they never to this day said it was done except for in court today. That's the first time we heard about it. Wow.
And so now I really, if you could have found that spot, I'd really like you to read, if you could read what that the one from the educator, the statement that he made, and possibly you said something about the
administrator
that didn't show up.
Yes.
If you can read what they say, I mean, all I want on this YouTube, people put what they want on Facebook, but what I put out here is nothing but the facts as I understand it, and I don't come out here I don't get paid one dime for none of it, and so I do it because I'm sick and tired of what I've been seeing here since 1975, to be truthful with you, when I've served 2 tours at Moody Air Force Base. And I am tired of seeing our young kids fill the jail. And y'all don't know how long I've been fighting with the NAACP and against Judge Ellaby behind the scene and other aspects of the, I don't even want to get into it. Let's try to stay focused.
Yes.
Go ahead, read it.
It says, "Hey Tim," which is my husband, attaches a letter from me which includes her final grade and that she had no discipline referrals the whole year until the last day of school. Deputy Atkins has the statements from the teachers that were involved. From my understanding, neither teacher was struck or had visible injuries. This is from the administrator of the school.
When you say administrator, are you talking about a low-level administrator or a top-level
No,
administrator?
I'm talking about the head honcho, the boss.
Okay.
And this is from Mr. Yarbrough, the actual teacher.
I didn't want you to call her name, but
Oh.
since you mentioned it, go ahead. I'll
Well,
try to stay away from the name, but it is a
yes,
fact. and
it's a fact. It's going to be in the records.
That's true. Go ahead.
And this was from him, and it was on Monday, June the 17th, 2013 at 9:24 a.m. To whom this may concern. During the incident that occurred on May 24, 2013, I, Derek Yarbrough, was not harmed in any way. If you have any questions, please call me. And he left his number.
Okay, he said harm in any way. But today, what do you think?
Today was our attorney had another statement that he had wrote to the deputy saying that he was not harmed, that he was not bruised, that he was not struck in any way. That he wrote to the deputy prior in his statement when the incident happened. And so I don't understand how when he got on the stand, he said, I didn't know I was hit. And all of a sudden his story changed. These are legal documents, especially you there to confirm that you said it, and he said those things. So how did the story change? I really don't understand it to this day.
Do you think that right after the death of Willie James Williams at the jail, professor at Valdosta State University, and by the way, a lot of the professors at Valdosta State are my friends. They can't speak because they fear for their jobs too. But a lot of the information that I get on YouTube that people are wondering how I get it is because a lot of white right people, I'm telling black folk, you can't blame all these white folk because it's not. A lot of white folks is just fed up with what's going on here as black people. But the only thing about it, as Matthew Richards said in his video called A Chorus of Fear, you used to could get it online, but now they had it taken down, but Matthew Richards is working vigorously to get it back up. So people here are afraid, especially people who is in law enforcement, preachers and pastors, people who are in management in top levels that are scared for their jobs, both black and both white, and you can't really blame them because it's been said for years. There is a clique and among the slicks, and the only thing about me, and the reason I keep doing it when I ought to give up, is because I refer to myself as crazy as hell. But there's something inside of me. When I think about my children and my grandchildren, I don't need to go to church and holler hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah for me to get a relationship with God while my people are going to hell. You all gonna find something out, I believe, with this KJ case. They are trying to criticize the pathologists, but we don't have to look at the pathologists. Just like we have outlined all of this, and I'm asking her, do you feel that you've gotten any level of justice here in Valdosta since May the 24th? Have anybody listened to you, your side of the story? Anybody?
No. As a matter of fact, they have been more than already premeditated, prejudged, had their decisions, their mind made up from day one. They were mad because I spoke out. But if I didn't speak out, what would have happened to my child? That's my concern. Because like I explained, at the end of the day, she was the victim.
And one other thing I want to say here now. Listen, what she said, a deputy said, I have told you all. Listen. Listen. Please listen, America. I don't give a dime for Anderson Cooper. Anderson Cooper did a good story on 360. But why haven't they come in on all this other stuff? Where's Al Sharpton? Man, I'm getting frustrated because there is something going wrong, and I can assure you that today is my 112th day, and nobody have said nothing to me. Here again, it's all centered around the death of KJ. I was not on a criminal trespass warning until that man was found dead out there in the jail or from the after effects of it. Here you got something else going down under the same school system. Lowndes County school system is Pine Grove School under West Taylor. What I heard that he was the one that issued this trespass warning on me. I got at least 5 other people that say they was restricted also. One of them is the president of the Justice League. He was there when the first time they told us to get off the property. And I got it recorded on video. Thank God for the camera. After they ran my driver's license, called them in, this before I got the criminal trespass, ran my driver's license in, and then Channel 6 came in. They didn't run their driver's license. Other news media came in. They didn't run their driver's license, but they ran mine. And other people that came in to Lowndes County School, they didn't run their driver's license. So now what are you saying, Brother Ryan? Here's what I'm saying. There is no justice here. And so they don't like this YouTube like they don't like open government. Yeah. Everything here is restricted. And as long as you shut up and be quiet, do what they say do, get on probation, go to jail, serve your time, and out there where they say they got cats, they got rats big as cats. All this is already on YouTube. All the people across America and around the world has to do is to follow the yellow brick road. I didn't just start doing this yesterday. I've been doing this for a long time because the God I serve, I believe, is going to do something. Now, I didn't mean to get stretched out so far. Let's get back on point. Now, so are you, what, you have to send her back to Miami to get some, what you going to have to do?
I don't know. I did inquire about that because I feel like she would be safe there. I'm not sure she'll be safe anywhere around here. I don't believe the police department is going to protect my child. The sheriff's department is going to protect my child because I had issues with them and I made that complaint against them. So I don't think she would be safe. I mean, they are the one responsible for the Lowndes County school system. That's the sheriff's department. So I'm supposed to believe I send my child to this school and you have the sheriff's department there, that these people are going to look out for her, that they're going to take care of her after all that has been done? I don't think so. No, I don't feel she's safe. I'm worried about my child. So that's why I'm putting this on camera, so that y'all know if anything happens to me, my daughter, or my husband, y'all need to have an open investigation that comes down on Lowndes County Sheriff Department, the school system, and Valdosta, Georgia. Because right now, I don't believe we are safe.
Once again, this thing is getting bigger. And this is why I've said to Eric Holder, and all of you in the Justice Department, I have said it to you before. This ain't nothing new. We've been under a 40 to 50-year court order with the Valdosta City school system. And you know it. The Georgia Attorney General, the Georgia Secretary of State, Brian P. Kemp, you know they had that meeting over October 17, 2012, and highlighted all them problems and irregularities over there. You haven't reported back to those people. Those people keep calling me, yet on the 23rd of September, the equipment 10+2 is going to go to Brooks County Court, which I don't think they're going to get no justice. I think, and I've been saying it from day one, there is no justice in the whole Southern judiciary for the black man and poor white people. That's true. Is that a problem for you? Now, you want me to give you some case in point? The Madison 9 in Florida. Y'all, let me stop, because I got all the record. Look, you're asking the question about her daughter. Look, you're asking a question about the KJ family in terms of why they don't quit and just give up and accept what these people say. Look, 1918, 15 to 25 blacks was murdered. The James Dent was murdered, killed, shot behind Washington Funeral Home in Quitman. Sammy Baker, Earl Evans, shot, burned up in a police car in Brooks County, nothing done about it, and no justice. The Wootons, the Densons, And Anderson Cooper, why don't you pick up on that? Al Sharpton, why don't you pick up on that? To the deputies who are worried about YouTube, don't worry about me. Worry about the truth that I'm speaking. And call me, Anderson Cooper, on your show and see if anybody can condemn me on the truth that I speak. See if, don't nobody say I'm lying. They don't say I'm lying because I'm here to tell you I've done my homework and I've done it well. And I'm retired military. My job in the military was, well, so much for that. Close us out, girl.
Yes. My thing is, I'm concerned, like I said, for my daughter's safety. And y'all say, go ahead and take it. Why should she have to do 2 years of probation when she was the victim? Why should she have to do community service when she was the victim? Why should she have to take anger management when she was the victim? Please help me understand that. This was her punishment for us speaking the truth. Everything I've been saying on this video was brought up in court. Everything my lawyer sat there and did proved what I said. So nothing I said on here was different than what I said out there or what was said in court. It was proven to be the truth. It's on there. It's evidence that we didn't lie at all. Nobody could say we lied. We told the truth. We made them have to tell the truth.
And you told some lies too.
Yeah, we had some that told lies. We had some that told lies. We had 3 of them that told lies and got caught up in their lies, which means the stuff they said should have been thrown out. There shouldn't even been evidence because they contradicted themselves. But he took all of that in consideration. So the whole time, it was never about the evidence. It was about what we said on YouTube.
Let me ask you one other question. I want you to say this so everybody can get it. I'm gonna draw you into the camera because I want you to I want you to say this. So Anderson Cooper, did the television station call you after you gave them all your complete packages? Did they call you? Did the Valdosta Daily Time, our only daily newspaper, did they call you and even get and show any concern for your daughter or all these other children in the school system about their safety? Did they want the general public to know that? Or does it seem like to you they want to keep it a secret, top secret, like people believe that certain things are being done at Lowndes County now and may never be open, may take another 150, 200 years?
No, they don't want it to come out. That's why they're upset now, because we've been speaking out. They wanted it to be an isolated incident, that thing that happened with KJ Johnson was an isolated incident and nothing else goes wrong in the school system. Well, I beg to differ, because we're going through this with the school system and the judicial system. My daughter was attacked. My daughter is being paid for it because we spoke out. And she is not the only one. While I sat there waiting to be called back, I heard of women telling their stories about the injustice that they received by this court system, how they're so fed up and they have nobody that's going to come in and help and protect us. And I say to the American people, cry out and spare not. Help us in this doggone state, because we are being railroaded every day. It is a shame that these things are going on, and it's the people that have the power in their hands, the judicial system, the police department, and the school board, trying to cover up their misfortune. And let's not forget, the juvenile justice, they make money off of this. So that's why they don't mind putting our kids and locking them up. They make millions of dollars when they lock them up. Do the research. That's why they give those tests for them kids in 3rd grade to determine who gonna make it. Who gonna be the first to make it to jail? Come on now. This is just about money. And they don't care who they hurt to do so.
I'm gonna ask you another question, because I want the truth to be told. Why is it, do you think, that out of everything that's going on in this community, our pastors are so silent in the black community?
My viewpoint on that, everybody washing everybody's hands, and I think if they speak out, they afraid that something either gonna happen to them or they can't get ahead. I don't know what the reason is, but nobody won't speak out on the truth. They stand in the pulpit, and I am a Christian, and I just sit there and be amazed about the truth, and the truth will set you free. Well, what about the truth that's been going on all these years? Why haven't setting us free yet? Why you have not spoke out about the truth? Why you being silent? They rather cut deals behind closed doors and then say, it's okay, let me get you. I'm gonna cut this deal behind closed doors. No. Open rebuke is better than secret love.
Okay, and so what we are doing, will you agree with me? All I have ever done was try to tell the truth and nothing but the truth. That's all. I don't get nothing from these. You paid me anything?
No, sir.
All right. This is the Ghetto Free Press doing what we do. And y'all don't feel this mother's pain, but I do. Why? I got grandchildren. I got children. And it's time for a change, y'all. It's time for a change. And you know the Justice Department and our legal system in Georgia, I'm going to continue to say it. I have zero confidence in them. And I'm looking for them to tell another lie on me, too. And they still haven't told me until this day why they did what they did. But we all know. I have black and white people telling me, Ryan, they don't want you recording because they know you report the truth. Because you ain't bought, you ain't sold out, and won't sell. And they right.
That's it.
Once again, thank you so much.
Father, Father, Heavenly Father, we're living in hell down here. Some soldiers are coming back. They don't have a home. The house been repossessed. Everything they had is gone. Congress is fighting against the president. The things they are saying just don't make good sense. If they would all work together, they could get something done. Instead of all this fighting, they'll have jobs to everyone. Father, Father, Heavenly Father, we're living in hell down here. Father, Father, Heavenly Father, we're living in hell down here. Some nursing homes not fit for dogs to live in. Yet they'll take your money, look in your face and grin. Many homeless people are living out on the streets. Some don't have clothes on their back. Some don't have shoes on their feet. Father, Father, Heavenly Father.
Greetings. This is the Getto Free Press, and we report what others ignore. This is your First Amendment right to know without whiteouts from a controlled news media whiteout network. And we are located in Valdosta, Georgia, and we are here to inform, educate, and persuade if necessary. Always keep that in mind. Moreover, I want to say to you that as a community, state, nation, and world, we are not who we claim to be, but who we prove ourselves to be over a given period of time. And if we are a liar, time will tell. And if we are racist or hater, time will tell. And our righteous and holy God already know. So you are only fooling yourselves. Again, the Ghetto Free Press. I'm George Foster Ryan.